Been at LoopMe for almost 2 years now, and one of the reasons I wanted to join was because they have a vision around bringing brand advertising and simplifying it, but also bringing the same type of rigor that you would have in performance-based advertising. So what does that mean? It means taking sophisticated AI and technology and scale, but instead of focusing on a conversion or a click, to use a survey-based methodology to understand mindsets. Is an ad breaking through, and is somebody more likely to purchase or consider a brand, but not just leave it there. Take that data and constantly use it to refine the targeting, to refine the campaign, which is an exciting big step. In the past, I've used plenty of brand lift and brand survey-based methodologies and solutions, and our optimization always kind of came down to, well, let's add a little bit more weight to this creative, or this line item's doing better, but there's a lack of scalability to that. An automated way to approach that is what we believe is a big part of our future, and why I wanted to join LoopMe.
One of the things I've heard in this year in Cannes is more people talking about outcomes than I've ever heard in one place before. And so if you could please speak a little about both how you see that as a pattern in the marketplace, and tactically how you can help manage campaigns that way, that would be
Yeah, well, that's great. I think that it's exciting that outcomes is a conversation that people are having. While it's important to figure out how to measure impressions and reach and frequency across all these fragmented platforms, the conversation should evolve and ultimately get to outcomes. At LoopMe, we have a much broader perspective of what outcomes might be. A lot of times when people think about outcomes, they think about that endpoint. Is it a sale or an acquisition or some sort of other type of conversion? For us, it starts at the top of the funnel, and it starts with brand outcomes. We've built a proprietary approach that allows us to use survey technology and a patented AI system where we can optimize that incoming brand sentiment in real time. We do that building persistent and concurrent control groups. We have another very sophisticated approach to that. We call it RISA, which stands for Residual Index Selection Algorithm. And what that does is allow us to have confidence that the incrementality that we're optimizing towards is real, as opposed to just, a signal that doesn't necessarily get us where we think we need to be.
So it sounds like what you're doing is bringing some of the accountability that came from cost per click digital media to a world where brand advertising still works. I assume that is, in the connected TV space, a huge upside, because TV is great at brand building, and digital people have been obsessed with not wanting to spend money on it unless you could track conversions.
Yeah, it's a great point. One of my sort of perspectives on the power of what we're doing is exactly that. So if television was the greatest, or is the greatest, brand building medium that there has ever been, but fragmentation, switching of behaviors, decline of traditional ratings moves video more broadly into a whole bunch of different platforms and mediums, which may or may not have the same level of effectiveness. A social feed, a different platform. So what are you going to do? How do you get back to the power that TV had in this new fragmented ecosystem? Our hypothesis is, and what we believe is, that AI is what you need to do to be able to level that up. You need to be able to get back to a place where building a brand, as you did on TV, can be done effectively across the sort of new video landscape. And that's what we are doing with our platform. I said it earlier, but we like to think about our platform as an outcomes platform. And what that means in ad tech jargon is an end-to-end full stack, where we go everywhere from a demand platform to supply, which extends out with audiences and measurement. So our platform is measuring on premium CTV, like Warner Brothers Discovery, across audio, traditional digital. Our survey technology also allows us to build audiences that can be made available in different social platforms, but you can also, leverage our core AI end-to-end from demand to media right within our outcomes platform.
The surveys are fed dynamically?
Yeah.
And delivered how?
So this is
Like
how
delivered where?
Yeah, great question. So this is how it works. One of the important things, and I always kind of bring this up if I was presenting to you, when you were at, Omnicom, I would say, hey, this is our approach and what the technology that powers it. It starts with the platform. Because we have supply and demand, we have that connection point, so we don't have to go through all these different intermediaries. We're able to understand that. We have a DMP that's internal and tied to that, and within it, we've developed our own household graph. So we're not licensing any data from anyone. So it's important to be able to do that to build identity and know if someone's in the control or exposed group. At a very tactical level, exposure data comes in, whether through a traditional pixel or a clean room or whatever the way to get us the exposure file. Surveys get sent out in an interactive ad unit that primarily shows within a mobile experience. So whether you're exposed on TV or on a podcast or even digital out of home, we're going to tie that back to the household and the users in that household and start to send them surveys. As those surveys comes in, our reset technology is building the control group, and it's matching in sort of a very sort of persistent way, sending out surveys to the control group. That starts to come in. And we get thousands of responses, so it's not about like a couple hundred and a couple hundred. Generally, we want to see thousands of responses to be able to, get to a stability and be able to break through the noise and get to an actual measured outcome.
So it's actually the virtuous circle of data in using ad tech to recruit survey respondents to feed outcomes platform.
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome.
And the trick, as incentivized panels allows you to do really long form questions, but those are incentivized users. They're there for many different reasons. What the goal here is to make it super simple and effective. We don't want to complicate it. We don't want to make it too hard for someone because we want real-time, non-incentivized consumer responses. Do you remember seeing an ad for X? Next time you're shopping for Y, would you consider these brands? Make it real simple and move on to the next. And that we found it to be super successful.
How does AI contribute to the cycle that you implement in your outcome process?
Yeah, it's a really exciting time. It's also a confusing time when people talk about AI because there's so much going on in the news and everybody has different features that they're able to talk about. What makes our approach to this really unique is that we don't rely on one AI model or one approach to optimization. We've developed something that we call the model economy. And what that does is it works from a base of over 1,500 different models. And not a human, the machine, the AI decides which model is most effective at any given time while simultaneously testing itself throughout the life of the campaign. And we show this in a very transparent way. When you log into our platform, we will show you throughout the campaign and after which model was dominant for delivery during whatever period of the campaign. So it's super cool. It starts off with a simple random probability model, moves into different forms of regressions and more complicated ones after that, but it doesn't do complicated just for complicated's sake. It will say, well, if this isn't working, this super high-tech model, we're going to revert back to what is working. And ultimately, what we see is returns that, on average, can be up to 5 times higher than industry benchmarks. And that kind of ties back to what I was saying before. How do you superpower a brand experience in a fragmented, no longer linear TV world?